Very good morning to all of you. I welcome you all to economics class, and today we are going to do chapter 5, part 2 of production function. Students, today we are going to discuss about total product. Total product is known as sum total of output of each unit of the variable factor used in the process of production. That is, for example, as you can see over here, the producer is producing 1 to 6 units, and corresponding to that, the production is 10, 12, 15, 12, 10, 6, which means at first unit you're producing 10, at second unit you're producing 12 units of output, at third unit you're producing 15 units of output, at fourth unit you're producing 12 units of output, and fifth unit producing 10, and similarly sixth units you're producing only 6 units of output. So basically 1 to 6 units are indicating your inputs, and this 10, 12, 15, 12, 10, 6 are all the outputs produced by taking 1 to 6 as inputs for the resources. Now for this, total product is calculated as 10 plus 12 plus 15 plus 12 plus 10 plus 6, which equals to 65 units of the commodity. This is basically the summation of all the output produced at each and every level of unit. Next, we are going to consider average product. Now, average product is referred to as physical output per unit of variable factor. It is calculated as average product is equal to total product divided by L. L is basically your unit of variable factor, that is denoted by labor in our economics. For example, if total product is 40 units and units of labor is 5, which also means at fifth level, or at by using 5 units of labor, you are producing 40 units of total product. Then average product is equal to 40 divided by 5, which equals to your 8. Next is marginal product. Now, what do we mean by the word marginal? As marginal indicates any additional change bringing upon. Marginal product refers to change in total product. When one more unit of variable factor is used, fixed factor remains constant. For example, if output increases from 40 to 45 units, when the input of labor is increased from 5 to 6 units, here we have presumed that fixed factor remains constant, and capital over here is considered as a fixed factor, then it is remaining constant. So it will be calculated by applying the formula as marginal product at nth unit is equal to total product at nth unit minus total product n minus 1, which is MP is equal to 45 minus 40, which gives you 5. This n is basically denoting your units. Moving on to next. Students, today we are going to do law of variable proportions. This law is applicable in short run production functions. Assumptions for this law are no change in technology improvement, as technology in any increase in technology is bound to raise your output. This law applies to the field of production only, and over here, as we know, short term is considered, only one factor will be remaining variable, rest all factors will be considered as a constant factor. Law of variable proportions, which is also known as returns to a factor. Meaning and definition for this: the law of variable proportions has an important place in economic theory. This law exhibits the short-run production functions in which one factor is variable and the others are fixed. The extra output obtained by applying extra unit of variable factor can be greater than, equal to, or less than the output obtained by its previous unit. So basically over here we are going to see if it is greater than, your output is greater than the input which you have put in, what it is known as, if it is equal to, that is your output is equal to the input which you have put in, then what it is known as, and if the output is less than, then what it is considered as. If the number of units of a variable factor is increased, the way wherein the output changes is the concern of this field. Let us read the law of variable proportion. The law of variable proportion states that as the quantity of one factor is increased, keeping the other factors fixed, the marginal product of that factor will eventually decline. This means that actually, as you can see over here in the schedule, number of workers that is denoted by L, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At each level of labor, we have been given the total product as 0, 10, 28, 54, 76, 90, 96, 96, and 92. Now, since we have learned the formulas for marginal product and average product, we are going to calculate the marginal product by applying the formula as well as average product by applying the formula. And we get the schedule as 10, 18, 26, 22, 14, 6, 0, minus 4 as our marginal product. And average product is calculated as 10, 14, 18, 19, 18, 16, 13.5, and 11.5. Now students, as you can see, as we go on increasing labor, that is from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, till point 3, marginal product is increasing. That is, if you can see that at third level of labor, marginal product is 26. However, after third level of labor, it starts declining. There comes a point it reaches 0, and then it ultimately becomes negative. This is the main concern for the law of variable proportion. Law of variable proportion, statement of law. Law of variable proportion states that as we increase quantity of only one input, keeping other inputs fixed, total product, that is PP, initially increases at an increasing rate, then at a decreasing rate, and finally at a negative rate. It is also known as law of returns or returns to a variable factor. See over here, units of land. That is, we can take it any fixed factor. It could have been capital, it could be land or any other fixed factor. Since you can see land is a fixed factor, so 10 acres of land has been taken as fixed for all the units of labor. Units of labor from 0 to 8 has been given as, and total production for the corresponding units of labor indicates 20, 50, 90, 120, 140, 150, 150, and 140. Average production is also being calculated and the marginal production is also being calculated as per the formulas being mentioned in the slide. So what we are going to conclude from this over here is, till third level of labor, marginal product is 40, which means over here marginal product is greater than your average product. This is the first stage of law of variable proportions. Then comes the point when average product is equal to your marginal product. Ultimately, it starts declining, and when it starts declining, that is when 80 is greater than an MP, then it becomes your second stage. Ultimately, there comes a point when marginal product is 0 and total product is at maximum point. That is, beyond this point, total product cannot be further increased, and then ultimately marginal product becomes negative, that is less than 0. That is considered as your third stage. Now, what are all these stages known as? This we are going to consider in our next class. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, read your books thoroughly, and do come up with your doubts. Thank you so much, Suji. Have a nice